on my own without you, wishing that didn't go. Day two, same again, comes and goes, breaks my heart, no one knew. Didn't wanna go, 'cause I'm out here, I'm all alone. Didn't wanna go. I wanna turn back the time and let you know. Didn't wanna go, 'cause I'm out here, I'm all alone. Didn't wanna go. I wanna turn back the time and let you know to come home. Kiss you, so you come home.
I am feeling lonely, and I wanna admit it's time to end the ride. Fading it too slowly, were those gonna lift me up this time? You were the only one who got me tripping up inside. All the words you told me, am I reading something different from your eyes? See you for a moment, even hope that I can feel you. To tell you that I need you. See you for a moment, even hope that I can feel you. See you, all that I wanted was to tell you that I need you. Now I'm finally right here with you. Now I'm finally right here with you. Voice is getting nearer, heart is pumping, thoughts are running wild. We got a good thing going, Why we gotta feel amplified? Staying till the morning, countless hours spending by your side. You look at me, I'm soaring, seeing all the truth behind your eyes. See you, for a moment even hope that I can feel you. I see you, all that I wanted was to tell you that I need you. I see you, for a moment even hope that I can feel you. I see you, all that I wanted was to tell you that I need you. Now I'm finally right here with you. Now I'm finally right here with you. The voice is getting nearer, heart is pumping, thoughts are running wild. We got a good thing going, why we gotta feel amplified. Staying to the morning, countless hours spending by your side.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? With me, I have Filia Noctis and Mina, and our very special guest today, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dr. Creepen.
You're way too kind to me, I tell you. You really are. Just the man will do.
No, you are a myth, you are a legend, and you are a man.
Doc, I'm gonna tell you, man. I started watching. You were one of the first channels I started watching, along with a few of the other big ones like Mr. Creepypasta. And when I found your channel, I was just like, "Yep, I'm sticking with this one." I probably have watched every single video on your channel.
I feel bad for you, man. Really suffering through all of that.
Now your voice is amazing, brother. But
Yeah, it is.
anybody who may be living under a rock and does not know who this man is, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. So take it away, Doc.
So yeah, Dr. Creepen is obviously not my real name, but it's the one that I perform under on YouTube. I was kind of bored with life about 5 years ago. My job was okay. I was doing other things, and well, it was all a bit of a grind. So I thought, well, I need a hobby. And one day, all of a sudden on YouTube, this video popped up, the Russian sleep experiment. And I thought, well, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to click on that. And I just thought to myself, well, that's cool. I think I could do that. And then just started out recording stuff on my Samsung phone, sticking it on YouTube. And it was dreadful. It was awful. But gradually I got a little bit better. And here I am 5 years later, still doing it. And, a few people like what I do, which is really nice. So,
You people.
yeah, that's me.
It's awesome that the Russian sleep experiment was the one that got you into it, because that's one of the really good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Very
definitely.
good.
I thought this is amazing. I didn't really even imagine people would be sort of doing stuff like that on YouTube or anywhere else, really. But it just kind of popped up, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I could do that. Well, I could at least give it a go, and that really got me hooked. This must be like, I don't know, middle of 2015, probably. It took me a good 6 months or so before I sort of plucked up the courage to give it a go myself. But yeah, that was the one that really got me started.
Cool. Well, let's say hi to the chat real quick before they bust a gut over here. And then we will commence with the questioning. So,
And I will say that my hubby is saying, hello, everybody.
Hello, hubby.
hello, hubby.
They all say hello.
Now, shush.
Go sit in my chair and relax.
Yes, go sit in your chair and relax.
I'm gonna just say, hey Jensen. Also, if you don't say hi to me, I'm gonna continue to troll you in the chat.
Right.
Oh, that's
So,
a normal
first
day
up,
between the two of them.
Yeah, that it really is.
We have Jensen. We have Creepy Crown. Okay, I'm not Englishing someone else.
We have Creepy Clown Girl. We have
We
Mandy
have-
Mortem.
Yeah, hey Mandy. Love you. I hope you're doing well.
Yes.
And then we'll let Filia say hi to Chris because
It's her, Chris.
right.
My Chris. My Chris. Hello, Christine. I love you. My Chris.
But Jelly Bean, and I'm sure Ray's listening. So hello, Jelly Bean and Ray. Oh, fun fact, Doc. While you're watching the soccer game, so is Jelly Bean and Ray because they're also on your side of the world.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. Yeah, and they managed to have a better excuse. Well, I felt so bad about last week. I'm like, I have to do this, but the one thing I want to be doing is watching that game. So if I do occasionally miss a question, it's because I'm switching over and focusing on the football. But
That's okay.
No worries at all. Right? We all do that, I think. And then
saw a
Cerise
Raven.
Death is here. I think I'm saying that right.
Dark Horse. Sears Death.
Cerise Death, yeah. And then Dark Horse. I think that's everybody.
And you're right. I thought I saw a Raven. 16.
Raven was here earlier, but I'm not sure if he's still here. And then 42, of course. And
yes,
the woman behind the scenes.
She's speaking under the Nevermore Collective right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and we've got our first question.
It had come from CCG.
Of course it did.
Of course it did.
Okay, so we'll start with her question first, Doc. Since the beginning of your channel to where you are now, what are your plans, or where do you see your channel going in the future?
Awesome question. Imagine being a completely disorganized person who hasn't really got a clue about what is going on in life and how they would approach this. That's pretty much me. So
me. Okay, got it.
Don't wait for some Zen Buddhist kind of enlightenment. Just kind of stumbling ass backwards from one week to the next pretty much sums up how I do things, to be honest with you. And it's a crying shame. I can't imagine where I'd be if I actually had some kind of master plan or something sort of lined up. But yeah, it's, to be honest, it's YouTube's been good to me, and I've had a lot of success. And there are a lot of people much better at this than I am who've had only a fraction of the success that I've had. And to sort of admit that I have no master plan or any idea where I'm going, it's kind of embarrassing, really, sometimes. But that's the honest truth of it. From one video to the next, I'm like, well, what do I feel like reading today? And that's pretty much it. What do I feel like reading today? Then I read it.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of your videos, you use, because I've heard you say this, that you use your own images.
Yeah.
Do you just walk around town?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can sort of track the sort of passage of my life for the last 5 years based on wherever I've been. It's like if I go on holiday somewhere, I'll just shoot a load of footage. And obviously, I was living in Istanbul before I moved to my current location, so there's a lot, 2, 3, 4 years ago, there's a lot of stuff from Istanbul. And obviously, I moved to the Netherlands back in 2019. So from that point on, you can see it's always just getting around town. And I wish there was some kind of master plan. It's like I'm doing a story about a church full of zombies, so let me go and shoot some footage near a church. But a lot of the time, it's like, I'm out cruising around. I'm like, oh, this looks like a nice spot. I'll just shoot a couple of minutes of footage here.
And you also have some of your music up on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Because I was always into I never really learned to play an instrument because I was just too damn lazy, to be honest with you. But I always had a passion for music, and I had access to software and a bunch of audio loops and samples, a massive library of them, tens of thousands of different sounds. So what I actually started out doing was making background music that I thought would be good for horror movies in the naive hope that one day somebody would listen to it and be like, yeah, we're making the next Halloween film, and we want to use this guy's music, which obviously
Nice.
didn't happen. So I was like,
Well,
well,
it could.
I was just like, I'm going to repurpose this now. I'm going to start reading some stories, and I'll just stick all this stuff behind me. So 90% of the stuff I use is stuff that I created years ago in a failed career move.
Wow. That's still, it boggles my mind. And I actually did go through most of your SoundCloud, looking for a piece of music to go behind a story of mine a few months ago. Unfortunately, I haven't found anything that works.
Oh no, I'm really sorry.
I need something that's kind of horror but Celtic at the same.
Right. Okay. Let me.
And
into the back catalog.
because the story has to do with a banshee. And I haven't found anything. With all of the artists we have, nobody's got anything.
No, sorry. I tried my best, and everything
It's okay.
everything I've ever made is available freely for anybody else doing this on SoundCloud. I think I put the links on my channel pretty much in every video.
You do.
Anybody who wants to use any of it, it's there for you. Just go ahead, help yourself.
That's awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We will throw your links up.
Yeah, if I had
Yeah.
found something, I would have shot you a note saying, "Hey, would you mind if I use this?" But that's me. I just do that.
And anybody, just go ahead, use it. I don't care. I'm just happy if you do. It's all good.
But yeah, Doc, you said about how you're too lazy to learn an instrument. I have a guitar sitting right beside me, and I just look at it, and I'm like, I've tried to learn how to play it several times, but my fingers just like, I don't want to do this. I don't like this, so I'm like, I give up.
Yep, I know that feeling.
Every couple years, I make it back. I'm like, I'm gonna learn this son of a bitch, and I'm like, yeah, nope.
See, I have
Because you have the short, fat fingers. I'm sorry,
short,
Dr.
fat
Creepen, go ahead.
Deadly fingers, short fat ones. Yeah, I know that as well.
What were you gonna say, Doc?
I'm sort of, I'm one of the older guys in this scene. I'm in my mid 40s now, and I've got a couple of teenage sons. One's a wizard with the guitar, and one's a wizard with the drums. And they're both like, hey, they're just like, hey, pick the guitar up. Here, do this, and just do it like that. And I'm like, don't understand. I can't do it like you do. But yeah, and the drummer, especially my youngest son, he's just I don't know. I'm just in awe of him. He's like, just pick up the sticks and do what I do. And I'm like, no. He's like, you don't realize how damn good you are.
To do what I do, man. If I pick up the sticks and did what you did, it would come out completely different.
Yeah.
So if you could write a chapter of your own life in a book, what chapter would it be and why?
Wow.
It's another one from CCG. She hits them hard.
Chapter of a book.
She does.
Well, I had this.
You'll see in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I had this real transitional year of my life when I actually lived in the United States for a while. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
No.
Yeah.
We missed it. Damn it.
It's 20 years ago or so, and I was in Rochester, New York, up in the north near the lakes. And there was kind
nowhere
of
near me. Damn it.
There's kind of a before and after that, which separates my life pretty much. So I would have to fill in the details later, but yeah, that was a real, if you had to pick out 1 year of my life where everything that came before then everything that came after, it would be that year.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Once we get off the air, we're going to have to go through this one. That's just too juicy of a tidbit.
Yes,
So-
and
Fun
Spooky
time,
Boo
fun
is
time,
telling
buddy.
us. Spooky Boo is saying she has used some of your music, and it is awesome.
Also, she said she's glad she caught this live because she loves Dr. Creepen's voice.
Very
Yeah, don't we all? Yes.
Right?
I'll tell you what, you want to know my secret? Get a bit older. I started my channel when I was
It's that British accent, bro. It's that British accent.
Yeah, because I done the older part, and yeah, no.
Yeah. But
All it
old-
does is, yes, I've done the older part, and all that does is just make it to where I can't do the younger parts.
well, yeah, there are other people who can do those. Don't worry about that.
Right. But then that leaves me fewer female parts to do. I can't do the young teeny bopper girl anymore. However, I get lots of mom parts.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. Yes. So, what else do we have for him?
Paris Death wants to know what Dr. Creepen's favorite horror film is.
Favorite horror film. Now, this is always massively, massively embarrassing when I talk about this. Are you ready? Are you sure? You want to know?
Yeah.
I'm very
There
sure
you
now. Now you piqued my interest.
Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch.
Really?
With the
You
little
know that
girl.
terrible one that doesn't have Michael
No.
Myers?
That's the Season of the Witch is the one that it was supposed to become an anthology,
Right, yeah.
and it was a different story. It didn't have the Myers in it at all. It had the
Absolutely.
mask and the shamrock. Did he?
Insane. Don't even try and explain the plot because it's
Okay.
absolutely batshit crazy.
I'm not going to try to explain it.
That's
All I
okay.
want
Yeah,
to hear that little
please.
rhyme in my ear now.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's your favorite. Okay.
It's where some Irish people steal a bit of Stonehenge from England and somehow transport it to America, and then some weird things happen where some masks get some like supernatural power, and yeah, that's all you need to know. But obviously it's kind of terrible. But early 1990s, I was still a teenager in the early 1990s, and this came on TV late night. Started at like 11 o'clock. You know, you just get to that point where suddenly your parents allow you to stay up late, and you first get to watch a horror film on TV, and that was the one. So it's sentimental. It's not because it's a good film. It's absolutely batshit crazy. But it was the first one where, you know, Mum's like, "Oh, go on then. You can stay up and watch this." It went past midnight, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm up past midnight watching a horror film." So yeah.
Oh,
So,
my goodness.
fun fact, Doc, about my childhood. My dad didn't give a crap what I watched, so at the age of 5, I watched Child's Play. Because of that, I'm still horrified of porcelain dolls.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah. Also, Children of the Corn. That is not a good movie to let a kid watch, especially when you live around cornfields.
Damn right. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty lousy film, but there's the first 15 minutes or so where there's just a child-based bloodbath. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, that's still honestly one of my favorite horror movies. But yeah.
Horror movies, you don't have to be. I mean, they don't have to be really good for them to be endeared to your heart.
Yeah.
Right.
A
Right.
lot of it, it's the time and the place, or where you were in your life when you watched it, or what it might
Right.
mean
Right.
to you specifically. Yeah.
It's like the horror movie that still frightens the Jesus out of me is Rosemary's Baby. And
Yeah.
it came out before I was born. And my mom wouldn't let me
Before I
watch
was
it till
born.
my mom wouldn't let me watch it till I was 17. And I'm
Managed
still
to not see it.
I'm still
Wait, my time
horrified
even.
by it.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so we've now jumped from genres. So let me ask you, Dr. Creepen, what is your favorite genre of horror? Do you like psychological, demonic,
Good question again.
slasher?
Yeah. No, I was big into the zombie movies when I was younger. Just like
Mhm.
George Romero and all that kind of stuff. I was just like, I would just gobble it all up. But now I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I don't know, I've seen every zombie movie under the sun, everything you could imagine. And what else? I don't know. Some of them just never really appealed to me too much, like the werewolf films and stuff. I'm just like, ugh. bleh, whatever. But yeah, I can't say zombie now because it's just so it's so everywhere. You know, with The Walking Dead and stuff. There's just so much of it. There's nothing left to explore, really. So I don't know. Tough question. I can't really say exactly. Sorry. Terrible answer.
So you're in a moment of flux.
Yes, that's
Cool.
it. Complete flux.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sci-fi horror has
Better
always
get
been
you
one
a
of my favorites.
capacitor for that.
Sci-fi horror has always been one of my favorites because the first Alien movie is near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, now I count that as a horror movie. The first Alien movie was a horror movie to me.
That was a horror movie.
Because it
Yeah,
scared the
absolutely,
holy bejesus out of me. And I was like 13 when I watched it, and it
probably
just
the same age when I first watched it. Yeah.
What was that, Doc?
I was probably the same age when I first watched it, and it was just beautiful. It's completely what you don't see on screen, isn't it? That's the absolute thing. It's just the hint.
Exactly.
I love the fact that whenever the alien bust out of the chest, none of the actors knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, those were real reactions.
How awesome is that? Yeah, they had no idea.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, there is the line of horror where you never actually see the creepy thing in the dark or the murderer or whatever it is that you're supposed to be scared of.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's almost scarier because it's like from the reactions of the actors or the reactions in the story, you're saying, you know, what is this thing? What does it look like? I mean,
Yeah, I remember that in the first one there's that scene where they're tracking the movement of the alien on some rudimentary supposed computer screen, and all you see is a series of beeps as it's moving closer and closer to whoever it was. And I was just terrified. I'm like, it's coming. And of course you don't see anything, you're just seeing some beeps on a monitor.
They're looking around like, where is it? It's right above you. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's like
Then you're
beeps
dead.
on the monitor or those notes on the cello. Dun, 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 dun.
Jaws,
You know,
yeah.
You know it's there somewhere, but where is it coming from? You know, it's the same thing. It's the monster that you don't see.
Yeah.
And you don't know. Yeah, that absolutely. You know, that it started out in Psycho. Because you
it
didn't
goes
know.
back further than that.
Well, yeah. But Alfred Hitchcock was very good at it.
Yes, he was.
Of not showing the monster.
Yeah, I like suspense horror that just like tense moment right before something happens, and you're like, where's it at? Where's it at? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Yeah. It's like it's the lack of control over the situation. It's you know something's there, and you know something's coming, but you have no control over it. And that's real horror, isn't it?
Yeah, and those are the kind of jump scares that those are the kind of jump scares I always talk about being amazing jump scares, because it's that suspense, and then whenever the thing just finally pops out and you just freaking jump because you're like, holy shit. Those are the jump scares that are great.
The ones you know are coming a mile away. It's like, okay, the single alone female walking through the hallway, you know something's gonna jump out at her. It's no fun because you know it's gonna happen. That kind of thing.
Yeah, but then again, if you can suspend the moment to the point where, it's not happening, it can't have happened because it would have happened already, and then it happens when you're not expecting it. That's quite a thing to catch on film.
Yes.
And when you're leaning over in your seat watching the movie, or even in a video game, trying to see around the corner that you can't really see around because it's a flat screen.
Just real quick.
Just
real quick. My boy Vidith is in the house.
Hey, Vidith.
Hey, Vidith.
Welcome.
Okay, so we're
Sorry.
going to go back
My
a little
story
bit.
recently. Thank you. It's
I
awesome.
was just gonna say that. We're
Yeah.
going back to the questions.
But,
CCG's one is first.
Hold on. I want to say one thing. So whenever you guys are talking about the suspense horror where you're leaning in forward, I always find myself like my hand, because I have a thing where when somebody gets their throat slit, that like whenever something really suspenseful is happening, I like go to protect my throat because I'm like, you're not getting this, bitch.
That's a good idea.
So
It is a really good idea.
I'd probably be leaning my head up and say, "Please, Dracula, bite me."
So one of the
Right.
questions I noticed that popped up before just recently was somebody asked
We
where
haven't ordered these things.
Doc got his channel from, and I'm honestly kind of curious about that one.
We have an order to these things, young man.
I don't care.
Okay, well, apparently, Harry's dad's question is coming first.
Okay, so what's the question again? Hang on.
How did you come up with your YT channel name?
My name?
Yeah, like
Yes.
Dr. Creepen.
Blatantly copying other people. We had Mr. Creepypasta, then we had Creeps Muckpasta. I'm like, well, okay, I'll hang on, Doctor. All right, Doctor what? Doctor Creepypasta. No, there was already a Doctor Creepypasta, so I had to like stick some kind of cool European thing in there. Van Pasta. There you go. So it was Dr. Creepen Van Pasta, and that got to be a bit of a mouthful, so I just shortened it.
I like that. Okay.
So
Dr.
blatantly
Okay.
like stealing and adapting, twisting somebody else's idea.
Why
Okay,
did I
so
think of that?
I don't know. Well, wait a minute. Never mind.
Now we're back to your
CCG.
regular scheduled program of answering CC questions.
Hey, now she asks good questions.
She
Although-
does. I just had to make the
Save some
joke because
for
like
our
it's
interview.
all questions except for that one.
Right. Well, no,
we-
Christy Baker asked one too.
Oh, did you? I didn't see that one.
We now know the video that got you started on YT, but is there anyone or anything that has also influenced or inspired you to become a horror narrator and writer?
Anything, anyone. You know what? When I started out, there's a couple of the really big guys who sort of nurtured me and gave me a sort of a lift up. It was Let's Read and Unit 522. I mean, they both kind of worked with me when I had maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 subscribers. They're like, yeah,
Wow.
there's something about you that I think is going to be good. So really early on, they kind of helped me out. It's not so much copying their style, but I'd be forever grateful to them for really sort of believing in me
Joel's great.
early on.
Joel's great. That's
awesome.
So because they did that to me, whenever smaller channels or anybody starting out said, can we work together? I was like, well, yep. The reason I managed to get a bit of success is because people helped me out when I was just getting going. So I've never turned anyone down who said, can we work together? I might have forgotten about you or been so disorganized that it's taken me a few months to get around to it. But I started out with nothing, and it took a long time to get going. So I really appreciated their attitude and saying, well, okay, something about the way you do things, I think you're going to be good. And I was nothing. I was just like, hey guys, with 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers as they had then, can I work with you? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So that was sort of something I really embraced, and I still try to embrace to this day. Because, I'm just a guy who reads stories into a microphone, and a lot of people like it. So it's all good.
Along those lines.
Well, I gotta say, it was about his voice. Dang it!
I was talking about something he was bringing up.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We do this all the
sometimes
time.
it's like
We got time for all
sometimes
these
it's like
guys.
being in
Come
the room with siblings.
I have been in a couple of collaborations that you have sponsored on your channel. And I just want to say that is a very cool thing that you do, where you let, a bunch of people, like the narrator bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a really
You
neat
know,
thing.
that is a really neat thing. And then the fact that you even participate in some of them. And then I was going to bring up the fact that you read, this dude's story,
One
which
of
was
PA's
really cool too.
stories.
Yes, you have read one of PA's stories.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know. I know Doc reads a lot of stories, so I don't know if he remembers the fresh meat story about the cannibal that picks up the hitchhiker. But whenever you and Madam Frightmare, or now she goes by M Frightmare, read that, and I heard that you were actually doing the voice for the trucker, I was like, okay, that's a notch in my cap that I'm never not gonna tell people.
Oh, that's really sweet. I mean, it's just like I'm just a guy who reads stories, and if it means a lot to you, then that means a lot to me too.
Well, yeah, because what I was gonna say earlier is like, because Vidith brought up that he needs your voice in his life, to be honest, and I said I need like both your voice and Vidith's voice and a few other people because I have anxiety, and your guys' voices actually like calm down my anxiety, like as I'm having a panic attack. So it's actually kind of cool.
To build onto that, I use your voice. I have chronic pain, and sometimes the pain meds don't work right, and I use your voice to listen to one of your voice along with a couple others that specifically I use to help take my mind away from the pain. So it like helps me meditate, but not actually meditate, if that makes sense. Your voice is part of my pain control pattern.
Responding to both of you, this is really awesome, and it's as big a factor in me keeping going as anything else. I mean, I put some adverts and I make a bit of money from what I do, but it's really hearing people saying, look, you've made a positive difference in my life. And it's that really means a lot. And as far as the anxiety goes, I wish I could say there's a miracle cure. I'm in my coming up to my mid-40s now, and I still get it. And I've found certain things that work for me. And if you find something that works, awesome. I'm really pleased to hear it. And I meditate as well, and it's made a huge difference in my life. I've only been doing it the last couple of years. To anybody out there listening to this, it's not some weird voodoo hippie mumbo jumbo. Get into the practice of meditation. It will transform your life for the better almost instantly. But really, guys, to hear you saying that I've had a positive effect on your lives, even in a tiny way, I'm really pleased about that. And it's as big a motivating factor to keep going as anything else.
I've never been able to meditate, but I can sit here and listen to, again, like Filia, your voice, and a few others, Vidith, Jensen, let's read, who really help the pain. And I get really bad migraines, and also this past week, I lost a housemate, and having you guys to listen to and to focus on has really helped deal with both the pain and the emotional pains, grief, for lack of a better word.
Really happy to even if it's in the tiniest way, to help anyone in their life situation through what I'm doing. It really means a lot. It really does.
Okay, enough of the mushy stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so I just started narrating like 6 months ago, and I've already gotten people telling me that too. So yeah, it does feel good to know you've positively impacted somebody's life.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the tonal quality of the voice. I really do.
Yeah, it does. So Cece asked another question.
Well, we've got Christine first.
Okay.
Right.
We got Chris up.
Christine wants to know, have you ever thought about coming back to the States to visit? And how about the Southwest?
I saw that question pop up.
I added that part about the Southwest because a bunch of us here are in the Southwest.
I'd love to. I had the time of my life in the United States. I really did. I have friends from that time 20 years later, and we're still in touch and everything.
Awesome.
It's I'd love to. Life circumstances haven't allowed it as of yet, but yeah, it's I don't know. There's something special about the United States. There really is. I can't even begin to define it, but it's a unique country in the world. And
Okay.
for better or worse,
We're extending
there's
your.
nothing quite like it.
So we're planning to send you to the Grand Canyon, and then over to Canada.
Ah,
Actually, first before he goes to Canada, he needs to make a trip to He needs to make a pit stop at Gettysburg.
Oh, okay.
you know what? I've been in Canada a few times. I actually interviewed for a job there 2-3 years ago. I got the job,
Oh.
and they couldn't get a work permit for me. So life could have been very different. I could have been
Oh.
over there.
Oh, they asked what province.
Where was I going to be? I was going to be in Toronto, at the University of Toronto, actually.
Oh.
And
So he sounds like an educator.
Haha, yeah.
Please.
No,
Please.
I taught English at university, English to second language speakers for more than 15 years, and that really did help a lot with understanding how to read a story and the way
That
sentences are structured and everything like
explains
that.
it.
It does.
That explains why you're so good, because you understand sentence structure and how that explains it. It really does.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's I know what the writer was trying to say in this sentence, and they didn't quite manage it, and they didn't quite structure it grammatically correctly, but I know what they were trying to say, so I'll just
Yes,
do what I think they were intending to do.
that is exactly it. That is that. Oh, that's why you're so good. Okay, so let's see. Vitus
Narcissus.
22. Oh, now
What's up?
Cece's. Is there a story that you have narrated that has impacted you the most? Or is there a story or a type of story that you refuse to narrate because of the content? So that looks like a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome questions, and I'm going to talk about both of them. There was one huge story I did a few years ago called Dead Man Running, and it was brilliant. It's about how life continues after you die, and you go into the the afterlife, the underworld, whatever, and it just ran from there. And you're in this completely different universe, but that is bound by different rules, and it was like 3.5 hours long. And at the end of it, basically, it was a love story between two characters who'd followed each other, through life and death, and then finding each other again. And I was almost in tears by the end of it. It's just really good.
Wow.
And recently, I did a
Actually,
story. I've been doing. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say. I think I heard that. I think I just recently listened to that story.
And I did a series of Vietnam War stories recently. There was like 6 stories, and they were all kind of interconnected. They all took place about the same time in the same location, but from different people's perspectives. And one of the perspectives was a military dog who would go out and find landmines and stuff. And to cut a long story short, it didn't end very well for the dog. And I was genuinely, if you listen to that one, I'm actually just weeping at the end of it, because the poor doggy doesn't quite make it out of the situation.
Oh.
That was absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like it when bad things happen to dogs.
No. I don't even watch movies where dogs die.
No old Yeller for you.
Nope. I've only seen that movie once. And I was a kid, and I didn't know.
What was the other question? Sorry, I kind of rambled on about
The other question was, is there a type of story that you will not read?
This is
Because
really
of
good.
context.
I hope other would-be narrators are listening to this, because I read one recently. I mean, there's an author who writes a lot for me called Taxi Dancer, and his politics are very clear, and but he writes characters in a story, and not always good things happen to them. And it's like, well, I don't care about the politics, I care about the story. And you don't have to necessarily like the character. You don't have to be a staunch Republican, rifle waving idiot, person to appreciate the story. And they're like, oh, why are you reading why do you read this story? It's obvious this person's politics is shining through. It's like, well, no, he's writing a character, and from this character's perspective, this is how they live their life. You don't have to agree with that to listen to the story. And then on the other end of the spectrum, they're like, oh, there was a lesbian character in this story. Oh, what are you doing? I don't. That's not how it works. I'm like, well, shut up. Don't listen to it then. I don't care. It's like the story is first and foremost. The affiliations and the desires and wishes of the character and the way they choose to live their life are secondary. And if you can't get past that, sorry. I read from both or every aspect of the spectrum, from gun wielding Trumpists to full on, trans whatever, So,
Right.
But I guess there's a point where I'm just like, well, this isn't a story. It's you ranting about, your personal beliefs. That's kind of
Right.
It's not very
Right.
it's not something I enjoy. But I will read stuff from any perspective, just as long as it's a story, and the politics behind the individual character doesn't dominate to a certain extent, to too much of an extent.
I think that's
Okay.
something
Makes
that
sense.
I think that's something that some authors kind of get hung up in.
Yeah,
Is
Mhm.
they're so caught up in their own message that they forget that there's a plot.
that's exactly it. What you're saying right there. It's like, okay, if there's
Yeah.
a plot, it's a good one. Okay, I can accept that you're writing a character who's lives in a certain sort of mindset. But as long as the plot's there, that's all good.
So just wants to know, is there a story that stuck with you after recording, like a concept that just kept you awake?
Oh yeah. There's a story I did way back in the day, and this is an old one. This is it was 2-3 years old before I even started the channel. It was called String Theory. It was a shorter one. It's about 15 minutes long if you read it, and it's the whole notion that we have absolutely no control over our lives. I don't know if you're familiar with this story, but okay, well, it's an old one, so I'm going to explain what happens. So there's this idea that there are these demons, beasts, or something that basically plan out our lives for us. You get up in the morning and these things are dragging strings around from one place to the next, and you follow the strings wherever they go. And one day this girl wakes up and she sees this, and she sees all the strings sort of going around, and she's following them. She's like, this is really weird. And everybody else is completely unaware. She goes to school, nobody's aware of what's happening. She's like, you're all following these strings, you're all following, and none of them can hear her. And then one of her friends gets dragged into this sort of alternate dimension as well. And he's following the strings. He's like, where are these strings coming from? And they find one of these creatures, and the creature just looks at them with pity on its face and says, you finally understood the truth of life, which is that you have no control over it whatsoever. And it's just such an interesting concept, and one you think, my God,
I remember that one.
This could be how we're all living our lives. And then that's it. It's just like reality, slightly 1 or 2 degrees off center, where you suddenly stumble upon the truth of life, and you're terrified by what it is. And nothing's quite got to me in the same way as that story did.
Wow. Just wow.
I actually remember that story.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry for the dip in the audio quality. My internet went down, so I'm on my phone now.
All right. We're following your message. It's all good. It's all good. Now, that for me is the definition of true horror, where your life is almost the same as it would be on any other day. Everything is completely normal. but there's that one thing that's slightly askew, that one thing that throws you off completely. And you think, hang on, everything I know, everything I live, everything I believe in is wrong because of this one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sarah's Death asks if you could live in any era, for example, Victorian, which one would you choose to live in? And why?
And why?
Good choice of the Victorian era. I'm one of these people who thinks technology's gone too far. Whatever benefits we've got from technology and advancement is eventually going to lead to the downfall of our species. So I choose the 1890s in London, the end of the Victorian era, where we were making some inroads into like discovering electricity, some positive developments in medicine and health, but everything hadn't gone too far. People were just living out their lives with some of the benefits that we now experience, but not too much. And it's just kind of cool as well, to be honest. It's part of the steampunk aesthetic, which I really enjoy. Just to be probably in the 1890s in London, and having the chance to track down Jack the Ripper maybe as well.
Oh, good. That would be fun. I mean, what? Is there any advice?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is there any advice that you would give a new and up-and-coming narrator as they start out on their journey?
Saw this question, and I get a lot of emails that ask exactly the same thing. And first up, I'd say, get on with it. Start doing it. Make mistakes. Listen to some of the feedback you get, and get better. Because I don't know if any of my really, really early ones are still on YouTube. I think I've managed to delete them because I sounded like Captain Kirk, really, William Shatner. It was just I listened back to them. It's like, and the man walked into the room, and something happened, and it was I'm like, oh my god, what I think I was doing. But I just got on there. Don't go out and buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of equipment in the idea that you're going to become mega famous and great at this. I started out on my Samsung Galaxy 6, I think it was back then. I just recorded into my phone, stuck up a picture behind it and got it out there. And eventually I got a bit better, just relaxed. But don't think, oh, I need all the best equipment. I need to do everything perfect before I start. Just start, okay? You're going to be terrible. You're probably going to be really horrible for the first few. Now, having said that, a lot of the people who are starting out now are pretty good because there's a lot of good people out there to listen to and to get an idea of what to do. But when I started, I was just like, well, I'll give this a go. And my head was up my own ass, to be honest. I'm like, oh, I can do this. I'm wonderful. I'm going to be great. And no, just get started, make the mistakes, try to learn from them.
Yeah. What do you say to people who don't give constructive criticism and are very negative?
That's a sign you're doing really well. As soon as you get the haters, you're on. You've reached a certain level of success. People don't hate people who haven't done anything. As soon as you start getting, I mean, I've got someone in the last few weeks who's like, "Oh, you breathe while you're reading. You breathe." I'm like, yeah. He's like, "You breathe too much." I'm like, "Sorry, I haven't mastered the art of not breathing."
I'm sorry, I like to live, and I need oxygen to do that.
And when I voice characters, I tend to be like, yeah. The whole life thing's quite appealing to me still, even at my age.
Yeah. I mean, Celia and I have had that
honestly,
discussion. Is that there's sometimes when you want the breath in there. There are sometimes that you don't want the breath in there, and it's just you need
it for the emotion.
you need the you need it to even talk, but
Right.
but it's something that we have to know where to do it. It's like I've listened to people where I'm listening to them and I'm hearing a lot of mouth movement, and I'm going, you were having a mouthy day today, weren't you? You know, it's not something I'm going to go and say, hey, you got a lot of mouth noise in your video. Could you cut that out?
Yeah, there's a difference between mouth noise and just like, a natural breath. It's like if I've been a long sentence, then well, I might take a bit of a breath while I continue, and that's all right. There's but if I try and do it at too soon after eating some food, or if I drank too much water, you're going to get, and nobody really wants to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I hate that when I listen back to what I'm doing. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with your mouth?
I cut those out.
But yeah, the real haters, to get back to the point, what I love to do is like, oh, okay, you've made a comment below the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pin that comment to the top, and then I say, well, anybody else agree with this? And more often than not, they delete the comment because a bit of a backlash. But it's like, well, it's like
because everybody else.
If you don't maintain this position because you were just being a bit of an ass, then fair enough. But if you've made a point and other people agree with it, I'll be like, okay, that's feedback that I should take into consideration. If you just like, oh, you suck, then I'm like, oh, okay, all right, fair enough. Does anybody else think I suck? All right, you do. Okay, tell me why, please.
I have a thing where
if when I ever get critics, I'm not big enough.
I'm taking a note out of Doc's playbook.
I have the thing where if somebody's going to thumb down a video, I want them to tell me why. What exactly was it that got the thumbs down so I can fix it?
Yeah. Once you start getting a bit of an audience, you're going to notice that you'll get a thumbs down after about 30 seconds. And you think, well, my God, I haven't even got through the introduction yet, and you've disliked this. So haters are going to hate. That's how it is,
You just assume that the haters have a time machine, and then they went into the future, watched it, came back, and said, this was trash.
Yeah. It's like, how do you know?
They're giving us a Roman vote of approval by thumbing down the video.
Yeah. It's all good. And like I said, when you get the haters, it's a sign that you've achieved something. You've reached a certain level of success. If they've actually bothered to come find you out and show you some hate, then you're doing okay. Really.
I actually had somebody tell me they were going to find my videos and thumb down every single one of them just because I'm a female narrator.
You have got it tough, and it pains my heart, and it has done for since I've started. It's a tougher gig for female narrators, and it breaks my heart. It really does. Because
girls can't be scary.
A bunch of my favorites are the female narrators. They really are.
Right. I don't get it.
So Jellybean and Ray want to know what your prediction on the final score for tonight is.
I'll tell you in about an hour or so when it's actually finished. My team's doing really well in this championship, so we haven't conceded a goal at all, and we scored a bunch of goals, and we scored one tonight. So,
and he's not going to curse it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. My team made it to the NBA Finals, so I understand. You're not going to curse it.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's my hometown team, too.
Wow. Excellent.
Not that I've really had anything to do with it, but
American sport's awesome. I mean, it's, there's always the hope that this year your team will do okay. Whereas,
right.
In England or in Europe, if your soccer team's not good, the chances are it's not going to be good ever. So if you like one of the big ones, then you're probably going to win something every other year or something. But yeah.
What do you think about the government releasing UFO footage?
That was really disappointing, wasn't it?
What?
I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, come on. Everything you know, come on. Don't be like, well, all we can say is that we don't know what everything is. Bullshit. Come on. You know.
Like,
Throw some
it's
load at me.
2021, bro. We know you got the tech.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I gotta be quiet
Okay,
on
there's,
that.
there's stuff floating up in the atmosphere that we don't know what it is. So we're not going to, we don't know if it's alien or not. It's like, yeah, come on.
I think my NDAs are
Space
still
junk
in.
from our own.
So to follow up on that question, because this is a fun topic to get into, what are your thoughts on extraterrestrial life out there? Because I kind of find it a bit egotistical and us overstating our self-importance in the universe to assume that we are the only intelligent life forms in the entire universe.
Hey man, listen, you just summarized my opinion completely. How important do we think we are? Really?
Yeah.
If there is a God, this is the best he could do. I mean, come on. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a God. I don't know. I'm not saying there is or there isn't, but yeah, it's
I like that.
one tiny galaxy, one planet.
No.
You know, there's the chances of there being nothing else out there is pretty slim.
Yeah,
If they've
exactly.
got any sense, they'll leave us alone for a while until we get a bit better, a bit cleverer, sort some stuff out. Maybe they did. Maybe they're like, yeah, you know, we'll go check on them. Oh, we'll come back in another 100 years, see how they're doing. Yeah, they're not quite there yet.
Actually, my mom had another thought on that. Was she believed that if they're visiting us because they're trying to see where they went wrong.
I just kind of like the thought of aliens haven't messed with us yet because we're just not a threat. They're like, oh yeah, nope, not a threat yet. Bye.
Right.
I like that question, Sarah. What do you do when you're not narrating in your spare time, Dr. Creepen?
Doc, you there?
Hi guys. Yeah, sorry, my internet went down for a minute there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome back.
So, welcome back. What do you do in your spare time when you're not narrating?
Besides watching football.
And taking videos and making music and
You still there, Doc?
oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, until we have some technical difficulties.
Just bear with us.
Yeah, bear with us, guys. And Christine said my favorite stories are from
Dark Somnium,
Dark Somnium Collabs,
Chrome
Chrome
Sunset.
Sunset, Blink, and a few
Blink.
others.
Blink is not from Dark. Blink is not from Dark Somnium. Unless
She
Dark
didn't
Somnium
say
has
they
a Blink. Blink is from
She
PA
didn't.
Nightmare.
No, she's saying
Yes, she
that
did.
those are some of
Dark Somnium Clubs. Oh, I see. Okay. I misinterpreted it.
But yeah, I think my NDAs are still in that. So yeah. Okay, Ray. Thank you for popping in.
Thanks, Ray.
Be safe, Ray.
Thanks, Ray. I love you, buddy. I hear a kitty cat.
Okay, that was actually a phone that I can't turn down.
Oh. That was all.
I can't get into it. So how bizarre? How bizarre? I mean, what are you doing? Actually, that afterlife story kind of inspired a story I'm writing. So, yeah, I remember that one. The one with the Walking Dead man. Yes, we've lost Dr. Creepen, hopefully temporarily.
Yeah, we've currently lost Doc,
hopefully
but
for a moment.
we're just giving him a few minutes. His internet did drop.
He has some great answers. He has been giving us some
Mhm.
great answers.
I've been really enjoying this.
No one back
Yes.
at the time. Maybe I'll have to smooth my way into
Ooh,
Grave Matters.
yeah. In 2 weeks when we interview him again.
Uh-huh. Did I
We'll just
smooth
have you
my
guys
way
on
into
again.
that?
Sure, why not?
Thank you, Sarahs. It has been an awesome lifespan. And there's not really, yeah, that was him dropping out. He's gonna be coming back. There's not really anything we can do about his internet. Unfortunately, I don't have a fix button.
Oh, while we're waiting, how's everybody in the chat doing tonight? You guys having a good night? Morning? Afternoon? I don't know what the hell time it is for you guys.
Everybody happy, people?
Hi.
Welcome back, Doc.
Welcome
Sorry.
back, Dr.
Oh,
Creepen.
we may
Of the internet.
Yes.
Listen, internet, be nice to Doc.
welcome back. We had faith. We knew you'd be back. Yay!
Doc, I'm used to the
Yeah.
internet
I
being
did score a goal while we were out, but that was completely coincidence. I didn't
Nice.
just leave you guys.
Doc, I'm used to the internet being shit to me, so it can be mean to me, but it
Yeah.
needs to leave you alone.
Right? Same
I
here.
All
was,
good.
Yep,
I
we're
was telling the Walking Dead man story reminded me of a story I'm writing right now, was just sort of kind of the same thing, but not. But yeah, I've listened to that a couple of times because it some of the things I write about sometimes go into that type of a genre, and I don't want to make the mistake of telling people, what they already know.
What question were you asking Doc before internet decided to be mean? Filia or Mia? Sorry.
Okay, it was
Trying to go back to see government.
what do
We were
you
talking
do in
about
your
the
spare
government.
time
Right.
when you're not narrating or taking videos or making music?
Well, for the last year and a bit, I've been lucky that I had enough coming in from doing YouTube that I didn't have to work, and that was kind of insane,
Oh.
really, to be honest. So I haven't been working, but I'm going back to an academic job in September, because basically being a full-time YouTuber messes with your head like crazy. It really does. It's one of those cases of be careful what you wish for. I just need a bit more structure in my life. So now it's a case of going out and exercising a lot, recording, spending time in the garden. Really boring life, to be honest.
There are people who can't do things like that, though. It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't listen to me talk nonsense about this. It's like, yeah, I've had this awesome time where I've had a chance to devote all of my time to YouTube, and it's been great. And it's like you forget about like, oh, do I have to get up in the morning at a certain time and go off and do some work? No. Do I have to worry about money coming in? No. But I don't know. I kind of researched it a lot before I went into doing full-time YouTube, and it's all the kind of common problems that a lot of people face. It's an awesome thing to be able to do, but it doesn't come without certain stresses on the brain, I can say.
Mm-hmm. So, Oh, never mind. I can't ask that. Damn
My team just scored another goal. We've got 3 goals to
Did you-
0. We're
did
3
you-
goals up now,
it.
so I can
Yay!
concentrate a little bit
Yay!
more on this.
Woo!
But
Goal!
The frustrating thing is
Sorry.
that
We
my family and a bunch of friends are downstairs, and I'm on a 20-second delay watching it up where I am.
up here.
So they
Oh.
cheer a goal, and I'm like, damn, I missed a goal. So
Well, I'm used to hearing more of the Spanish because I live in the Southwest, so
Right.
I get those long drawn out goals.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds much better than goal. Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's more exciting. So I'm trying to check and see if we have questions, our quote unquote serious questions that we haven't answered yet, or that we haven't answered, that we haven't asked.
Do you have a horror guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure.
Right. Well, he kind of said so with season of the witch.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than that, guys. Come on.
Okay.
Oh,
So now we're
when
gonna.
you
I can kind of answer that though. There's a podcast called Now Playing Podcast. It's it's these 3 American guys who review movies, and they're just ridiculously obsessive. And they, for example, they're doing all the Stephen King films, but they don't just sort of say, right, we're going to do a review of Children of the Corn. They do a review of every Children of the Corn film, and there's like 9, 10, 11 of them. So they do a crazy review of like Children of the Corn 6, which has nobody in it that you've ever heard of and has no relation to the first film, and it's absolutely nuts. So I really enjoy listening to their podcasts about all of the Stephen King films. Really good. I'll try and leave a link for some of you guys to
I'll have to look up
check
That
it
would
out.
be awesome.
It's
Yeah.
three American guys. They've been doing it week in, week out for more than 10 years now. They never miss a week, and
Oh,
they
oh
don't
my
have
God.
adverts on it or anything, so they're really, really dedicated, and they just do some insanely ridiculous films sometimes.
You know, at least one of them lives in their mother's basement.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
You got it. You nailed it. Those kind of guys. Yeah.
do you have a favorite food?
Food. Yeah, this is an easy one to answer, but it's also a weird answer. Anything that somebody cooks for me. Honestly, you get to this point in life, and if somebody cooks for you, then that's a real joy. Something you can take for granted, really.
So,
Because me and my wife are in this habit of like, she'll cook breakfast one morning and then I'll do it the next, and she'll be like, "That's the best thing I've ever eaten," and then the following day I'll be like, "That's the best thing I've ever eaten," because I didn't cook it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh.
Big
That
life
is
lesson to everybody.
adorable.
Big life lesson to everyone: if somebody cooks you food, just show your appreciation, because you never know when that's going to stop.
Yeah. So one of the things that you say at the beginning of just about every video I've watched is to grab a glass of your favorite beverage. What is your favorite beverage?
When I first started, I did a Q&A video, but it was years ago now, and at the time it was El Duderino, the dude, from what's the film called? You know the one I'm talking about. A White Russian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big favorite of mine. But,
Lebowski.
the Big Lebowski, yeah, El Duderino, the White Russian, which is bizarre concoction of Kahlua milk and
Milk
vodka.
and vodka.
Yeah.
Which is it's lovely, but I kind of drink too much to be honest in the last couple of years, especially with the lockdown. You can only drink so many of those before you puke, because it's you don't want to be mixing too much milk with alcohol.
Yeah.
These days, a nice glass of red wine, a couple of glasses of red. I'm not particularly fussy which, but yeah. Any beer drinkers among you? Anybody drink beer?
I don't actually drink alcohol.
Good on you. It's a horrible, horrible thing.
I can't with the medications I'm on,
Okay.
and I
Same.
have a rare I have this rare
Go
thing
ahead,
with my
tell him.
body chemistry. I get drunk off of cola drink.
Really?
Um, like not root beer or Dr. Pepper, but like Pepsi Cola, Coca Cola, RC Cola, Sam's Cola. If it's got cola in it, I can't drink it without getting drunk. And it doesn't even take a 12-ounce can for me to get drunk.
I've heard of
And
this, but I've never heard of anyone who's had this condition. Wow.
I didn't know there was anybody other than me that had it until I was talking to a friend of mine who her significant other was a doctor, and he's like, yeah, we have them in the hospital all the time. Nobody can figure out. It has to do with their body chemistry and how their bodies process the cola itself. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not so unique after all. Yay!
Good to know, isn't it?
Okay. Done that one. Done that one. Done that one.
Anything that comes to mind, guys? You know, any
Anything
question?
Okay, well, I'm
What was the first?
I just
Oh.
took him.
Actually, so what got you into horror? Were you always into horror, or did something like lead you down the path of wanting to like narrate horror stories on YouTube? I know you said you came across the Russian sleep experiment, but before that, what got you into horror?
I was a big Stephen King fan back in the you know, I always just assumed that everyone when they were like 14, 15, 16 just read Stephen King. And
Yeah.
a lot of my friends did, but I just assumed everyone did. And then I kind of lost
kinda
it for a
thought so
while,
too.
and then got back into it. But yeah, no, I was always a fan of the cheesiest, crappiest horror films you could imagine. If it was a horror film, I'd just watch it, whatever it was. I don't know, it's just
Hammer
something.
fills.
Escapism. It's like this isn't real, and I can, it's just a means of escape.
Right.
Life is as bad as whatever's happening in this film.
Right, I get that.
Hammer films.
Trauma films.
No,
Please.
my
No, I don't want to remember the crap that I watched. Oh God.
my mom would sit down with me and my sister on Saturday afternoon, and we would watch Hammer films or whatever happened to be on the Saturday afternoon horror flicks on television.
Yeah, been there.
That
Done
used to be a thing before Goosebumps and
that.
Are
Yeah.
You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh my God.
I've got one.
Okay.
Do you have a phobia?
Yep, of course I do. And I've a couple. I have the classic spiders, which I think is completely hardwired into our DNA from a point of time when we were really in danger of dying
Y'all
of spider bites.
are sissy lalas. I'm not afraid of spiders. Well, okay. If you put me in a box with a whole bunch of like, them jumping spiders,
Yeah,
those
the
hunter
jumping
things
ones.
from,
I don't like jumping spiders.
No. from like Australia. Okay. But your average spider, house spider. Well, I live where they have tarantulas, and I have pictures of me picking up wild tarantulas.
Wow.
I have black
I had a
widows
pet
by my
tarantula.
house.
Black widows. I mean, they can kill you. It's
Yes.
It's not a phobia
Right.
based on.
No.
No, I understand.
And
They live where I live.
for anybody who is not arachnophobic, Kingdom of the Spiders is a good movie.
So Doc,
The
I know
spiders win.
Doc, I know you're into soccer. Did you get to play any? Did you play any sports when you were younger, or do you still play any sports with the boys?
I sucked. I was terrible. But I'm a middle distance runner, sort of 10-kilometer half marathon distance. It's good for getting all the thoughts out of your head and keeping fit as well, obviously. But yeah, I do
He's got long legs. I
distance
can
running.
tell.
Oh, when I was in school, I was track, but I was short and plump, so I was shot put, javelin, and discus.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Couldn't
wrong
run
with
with a dam, but I could throw.
that. Power. Raw power.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
If you could be any fictional horror character, who would it be? Why? And who would your first victims be?
Wow. Think. Oof. Can I go classic, old school?
Yeah.
Dracula.
You can go anywhere you want.
Dracula is such a seductive character. Did you see
Isn't
the
He is.
the 1993 film? That was with Gary Oldman.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much there. Yeah, it's just it's a character who feels betrayed by God and you know
Mhm.
get
The
gets his
angst and
vengeance
everything. Yeah.
in the most damning way possible. That was pretty much it. Yeah, it's like
You said Dracula, and I was like, "Yep, I can see Doctor's Dracula."
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
I was
the whole
actually saying
Go on.
earlier, I could hear him voicing death.
Yeah.
You reckon?
What's your favorite word?
Word.
Yes.
What's
your favorite word?
Okay, this is one that it took me a long time to learn. It was you know when it rains and you get that smell of the earth and the ground and grass and everything. That
Mm-hmm.
completely distinct smell. It's called
Mhm.
petrichor. And I say, "Oh, I love the smell of petrichor." And everyone's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what that is." And then you say,
Petrichor.
then you say it's I'm going to type it into the box.
Whoops. Oops.
Petrichor. Petrichor. P-E-T. No, I
I'm
forgot
gonna
what I
write that
said.
down. I'm gonna try to write wait.
Petrichor. Richor. God damn it.
Pleasant smell that frequently accompanies the first rain after a long period of warmth, dry weather, other than the petrichor emanating from the rapidly drying grass. That was not a trace of evidence that it had rained at all. Nice, I like that. Petrichor.
That
Good
is
word.
fantastic.
Maybe if you only learned one thing tonight, then you learned one word. That's cool. So
Well,
Right.
yeah, that is so perfect. I live in the desert.
I've never met somebody who didn't like that smell. And
I live
to
in
know
the
what-
desert.
That
And so when it
That must be
rains here,
special.
it is a hugely significant smell.
Mm.
And you can smell it before the rain gets here
that
because it, as it travels and you're like, oh, it's coming. The rain's coming. And everybody gets all excited and goes outside and we're like sniffing the air going, which direction? Where's it coming from? Like, primal animals. And petrichor.
Yeah.
That is so
That's it.
perfect.
It's the primal.
I love you. That's perfect.
It's the primal
I'm
animal.
sorry. That slipped out.
It's something connecting you directly to nature and the history of the whole goddamn planet is like this smell. And it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
things are
Yeah,
things are
right
alive,
there.
things are living again, things are growing because of this. And it's
That's
Now we know
lizard
the word
brain
for it.
shit there.
yeah, there's that smell, and I don't know if it's the same smell, but there's that smell right before it rains, that where you just smell all that moisture build up in the air.
Yeah.
God, I
You
love
feel
that
it in
smell.
your
I walk,
bones.
Well, if it's not
Yeah.
quite the same, they're related.
I walk outside and I go,
Related.
rain's coming. Somebody's like, what? I'm like, rain's coming. We got about 15 minutes till the rain gets here. And the first time I did this, people were like, bullshit. Next thing you know, 15 minutes later, you start hearing rain just hit the house. And I was like, told you so.
Yeah. It's just that beautiful reminder that we're connected to nature and everything. We're not separate from it.
No, we're not.
Wow. Okay.
My team's just gone 4 goals up. I think we got this one.
Yay!
I think you guys are good luck for me. I'm gonna have to join you
Yeah.
at least as a somebody watching every week from now on because
You are
Okay,
always welcome,
always.
sir.
Oh, Always welcome. Okay.
Yes, always.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you? And what makes you weird?
I'm a 10 because I'm a human being and we're all weird. We're all completely making everything up as we go along. All of us. Nobody has a plan.
I love your
I'll tell you, if
answers.
you meet somebody who has a plan or has goals and stuff, they're weird. Especially if they
Yeah.
can stick to them. What on earth is that all about? Now, none of us have got a clue what we're doing. Embrace it, love it, go with it.
Yeah. So there's a meme that I absolutely adore and that you know accompanies weirdness, and it says, "Isn't friendship like the strangest thing in the world? You just meet a random stranger, like your weird goes well with my weird. I want you as a friend." It's
Yep.
like it's
Yeah.
so true.
Yep. That's why if you're away from these kind of people for any length of time and you meet them again, you're like, oh, you're still weird in that way. You're cool.
Yeah, it's like my husband says, "You're so weird," and I'm thinking, but that's why you love me.
Cute.
Yeah,
If it was
absolutely.
normal, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's what I tell people, and I'm like, "You're weird," and I'm just like, and I'm damn proud of it. They're like, and these are the people who don't consider themselves weird. They're like, "That's not a good thing," and I'm like, yeah, it is. And if you don't consider yourself weird and you're normal, then you're just boring.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is
Everyone's weird.
Normal.
If you're not weird and you tell me you're not, then you're the worst. There's definitely something wrong with you.
You're in denial somewhere, and that's
Yeah.
not just a river in Egypt. It's a really bad joke, but I don't care.
It's an age-old classic. It's not a bad joke.
So we know what smell you like. What is your favorite sound?
Sound. Oh.
We do
it's-
ask the hard-hitting questions.
It's connected to the other one. It's like when you're safe and warm in bed and all is good and there's a big ass thunderstorm outside, but it can't get you. Yeah, there's nothing quite like that.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like
Especially
it.
if you have
Yeah.
the privilege of having a tin roof, and you get to listen to the rain just pound off the tin
Oh,
roof.
Yeah. It's like, well, you've achieved what millions, hundreds of thousands at least, years of human evolution has tried to achieve, which is to be in a safe, warm place away from the worst of what Mother Nature can throw at you. And that
Cold,
really,
wet, and hungry.
yeah, that's it. If you're out of the cold and you're out of the rain, and you've done what 100,000 generations before us strive to do, and that's it doesn't get any better than that.
If you're safe and warm in a bed while the rain's pounding off the tin roof and you hear thunder just outside, you've just achieved max tranquility.
You're the king or queen of the world. Let's face it.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's good. You have the best answers.
Right?
I'm
my-
loving interviewing you.
My
So
favorite
this is so
answers from
awesome.
you so far, Doc, are like, what advice do you have to give the new people? I'm just a hot mess. I can't give you any advice. Sorry. Moving on.
So
Yeah,
When
and that
you
never
were-
don't think you achieve like enlightenment as you get older. Just keep going. Be happy who you are.
So when you were in the poetry potluck, you did a Robert Blake poem,
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
and
Do you remember that? Okay.
I
remember
actually was
my
praying.
my candid comments after reading the poetry not getting edited out, where I'm like, oh, fuck me, that was really personal, and that didn't get edited out, which I thought was really funny. 'cause it was supposed to be.
I asked you. I sent you I sent you an email with that, and you never responded.
Well, that's exactly why this is entirely
I
my
did
fault.
ask.
You see, this is why it's entirely my fault. And most things in life are your own fault because you don't pay attention when people are
I
getting in touch with you. And yeah,
I would have.
But
Right.
yeah,
No,
I mean,
I
you
listened to them
didn't
like that.
say
That was
anything.
really funny.
And
That
I
was just really,
asked
really
a
funny.
bunch of people. I did. I asked. And everybody's like, no, go ahead. He knows what he did. He knows they're there.
No.
He
Oh
said it
my
to you.
God.
He's okay with it.
I will leave them in. He did.
I thought it
Yeah,
was funny, and
that's
I
what
take entire
everybody said.
responsibility for
Because
it.
I said, no, they're too personal.
Yeah. No,
But
that's good.
everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. So
But
that's
I was
funny that you asked that, Mia, and I didn't.
well.
Go
I
ahead, Mia.
wasn't asking that actually.
So,
Oh,
I was, so when I was playing that for a friend of mine recently, and she wasn't really paying attention to the words all that well. She's deaf, so that probably had a play in there too. And she was like, I can't listen to creepypastas. I can't. I said, this isn't creepypasta. This is English poetry. And she's like, oh. But your voice, your quality of voice is so perfect for recitation and narration as we do it. And it probably does
anything.
have, yeah, we love you.
Very, very,
Collectively as a community, we love you.
Yes.
very
Yes.
sweet. Honestly.
So, Doc, on your channel, do you have a? You might have already answered this, and my dyslexic brain might have just forgotten. But do you have a favorite channel, a favorite story that you've narrated on your channel?
I think I mentioned this. Did I? I talked about this, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it the string theory one?
I? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
was still
Okay.
the- Yeah.
I like
That might have been
too.
whenever my internet dipped. I think I came
Yeah.
back for like
It might
at
have
the
been.
bottom half of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Who of anybody, past, present, dead or alive, would you like to read your eulogy?
Wow. So if you choose someone like cool or who did stuff, they'd be like, yeah, I was much better than him. I did all this, and yeah, he didn't. it's like, well, yeah, I discovered X, Y, and Z. All right, I helped this happen. You'd be like, well, what did I do? I read some stories on YouTube. Yeah,
You
I don't know.
made hundreds of thousands of women excited.
All I know, Doc, is I still stand by my answer, and I would have to have a practice eulogy just so I would get to hear it. But I would totally want Gabriel Iglesias to read my eulogy.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
That's why I would need a practice eulogy so I could hear it.
No, there's this one band I like, this English band. They were pretty much going before I was even born, called The Fall, and the lead singer was famously terrible. He really couldn't sing at all, so he would just like shout into the microphone, and he was very self-opinionated, and he was almost always drunk as well when he went on stage. And I just think it would be really funny because he'd walk on and be like, well, yeah, no, he was a bit of an idiot, why are you all here? And that would be pretty much it. Like, well, that would upset everybody, and that would, at least it would provoke a reaction.
Okay.
Here, I thought he was going to say somebody like Vincent Price or
Right.
James Earl Jones or.
Get somebody on who would just be like, provoke some kind of reaction in the crowd, even if they all got upset, because then they could all go away and say, oh, that's not what I thought, at all. And then they'd reminisce amongst themselves.
So it looks like we had this might be from 42, or she didn't say who it was from, but she says, if you only had 5 minutes to live, what would your final words be?
Right. All the money is buried in this location. Now listen to me very carefully. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Like, yeah.
I knew exactly where you were going. So I started to laugh early.
And they'd be like, no, keep going. They'd try and revive you, and you'd be dead. And they'd be thinking, oh damn, we missed out on millions buried somewhere. And of course, I haven't got any money, but they think there would be money. Who was it who said? I think it was it. Oh God, who said it? Was it Noel Coward? Somebody said, right, either this wallpaper goes or I do. and then they just died.
Oh my gosh. So you remember that there was in the in well, not really in the mid ages, but there was a wallpaper that was poisoning people during the Victorian era.
Yeah, they made stuff out of like really horrible materials, and they didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Like that green,
Yes.
that just dangerously poisonous green that was
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah, they were putting something into the paint or the dye that we're using that was like really,
Yeah.
really pointless.
Yeah.
It wasn't even lead. I mean, it's just before we even had lead paint. I mean,
So
Just like the death material or something. Yeah, they were just like, yeah, we'll stick this in. and
either
everyone's
this
just-
wallpaper goes or I do, and the wallpaper is what killed you. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
so,
Should have been.
so I have
taken the hint.
I have a personal friend watching this right now. She's not commenting; she's just lurking. But she asked me, "Do us narrators ever compare ourselves to people like Morgan Freeman or like guys with like really just good voices?"
you compare other narrators to.
And I'm like, you gotta be kidding! Come on, this guy's a genius. He's just got his voice could like melt butter. It's like, yeah. No.
Like I said, I
Okay,
compare
I'm
other
gonna
narrators,
say
but not
something.
me.
I'm going to say something that may be a little crude. Your voice can melt panties.
It's a good job you can't see my face and see what I look like.
Are you blushing right now, Doc? I feel like you're blushing.
I feel like he's blushing too.
I could just make that worse. I'm like, Doc, your voice could turn a straight man gay.
Now you're talking.
Oh God.
My advice to you all:
I mean,
get a bit
you
older, let the voice get a
are-
bit deeper, and you're good. Go on, sorry.
your voice is very good. You can don't start comparing yourself to these guys because you do
Yeah.
have that voice.
Right.
You are that good.
And if you think about it,
My years as being an English teacher and teaching the language and how it works and how to get the rhythms really made a big difference. I thank that part of my life for kind of informing how I do this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say so. But that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
so if
But no.
somebody asked you just one, and you've kind of already answered this, but a different type of question. If somebody asked you per se to voice lines, not necessarily a whole story for a collaboration, would you be willing to do something like that, like just voice acting?
Are you asking me? Yeah.
Maybe.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I'm notoriously disorganized, so you can ask me and it might take me a month to get around to it, or I might do it 5 minutes after you ask. But yeah, sure.
So I find myself to be the same way. So what I do is if somebody asks me for a collab, I usually that day when I get home from work, I sit down, do the line, send them out just so I don't forget.
Yeah. No, I'm notoriously disorganized, and there's nothing. I embrace it, and that's it. So it's like, ask me, I'll say yes. Remind me, then remind me again, or maybe you'll be lucky and literally 10 minutes later I'll send it to you. So
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I was that guy who just did this and had a couple of lucky breaks. But I remember people helping me out, so I'll always help other people out. It's a small world.
That's great.
There's enough room for
That
all
is
of us
awesome.
doing this who wants to do it. It's fun.
There
If I
really
can-
is.
I will.
There really is, and it's something that I think we've all said is that even if somebody else has done the same story, every narrator does it differently.
Yeah. Okay. I got a question for Doc, and it's a good question too, because honestly, it's something I said when I reached out to you, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Do you think
Well,
now that you've surpassed the 100K mark, that you're like, you are one of the bigger narrators on YouTube, that people honestly are worried or like shy for reaching out to you for, like, say, an interview like this or a collab?
absolutely, yeah, yeah. There's this whole thing about, people who've achieved a certain level of success on YouTube are some kind of, I don't know what word you would have for it, some kind of demigod. It's like, I'm just a guy
Yeah,
who reads stories.
untouchable.
I'm very, very lucky to have had a large amount of success doing this, but it's what I do. And,
Because
but at the
you
same time, there are some real, sorry for, for saying it, but there's some real assholes out there who just think, yeah, I've done this, now I'm better than you. It's like, shut up,
Wow.
What the
yeah,
hell?
unfortunately there are those people. But actually, the reason I reached out to you is because CCG actually recommended, like said, what about Dr. Creepen? And I'm like, probably wouldn't want to do the show. And then my brain goes, he probably doesn't do anything like that because he never gets asked. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
the really attractive girl that you see that standing across the room. You want to go talk to her, but you don't because she's so attractive. So you miss the opportunity. Maybe she would have gone out with you because maybe nobody approaches her because she's so so attractive. So I'm like, you know what, screw it. Worst you can do is say no. So I reached out.
Yeah, and I said yes, and then I totally didn't show up. Like,
And that's because
Right.
that's family
You
emergencies,
had
man.
a family emergency.
Emergencies.
That's
That
Yeah.
trumps random interview on the internet. Like
But-
real
Yeah.
life family stuff trumps everything.
you know what?
Yes.
There are good people in the world, and there are people who have their head up their ass, and reach out, and you'll learn pretty quickly who they are, which one they are.
but it is kind of daunting. I mean, you've got 268,000 some odd subscribers.
69,000, I passed that
Okay.
last night.
Oh, well, congratulations, dude. That's
I
awesome.
didn't check today.
Congratulations.
Sorry. You know I'm good.
Congratulations.
Please.
But it's pretty daunting to look at that number and say, I've only got 449 subscribers. Why would he want to do anything with me?
Yeah, I know.
And
I
yes,
can't
you're
promise anyone else in my situation or something similar will have the same response, but be thankful for whatever success you have and realize that a lot of it's dumb luck. There's 10, 20, 30 people who I think are way more talented, put much more effort into it than I do, have better production quality, all that kind of thing, who are on like 20, 30,000 subscribers and who've been doing it longer than I have. Just be thankful for what you've got, and if you can help other people, help them, in whatever way you can.
So, like on my channel, because I'm still tiny, like 416, but I do like PA's Nightmare Wednesdays where I read my own story, and since I don't have an author to shout out, I literally just choose a random channel and just shout them out in hopes that like somebody might go check them out.
Yeah.
It's a way of giving back,
I mean, I'm way too disorganized to have a regular schedule for doing this, but if I try to do it on Twitter as well, I'm like, this person showed up, kind of like the sound of what they're doing. Please go and give them a listen. And fortunately, a few people do. At least a few people do every time.
I have a notebook that I keep next to me when I'm listening to narrators, and when they shout somebody out like that I haven't heard of or I haven't listened to, I'll write the name down and I'll go back through and look for them. I'm weird.
I mean, there were a lot of people doing this when I started, but now it's crazy. It's like, oh my god, so many people.
It's exploded.
I do what I can, and if I miss somebody or I can't give a shout out to everybody or support everybody, then sorry, I just can't do it. But I do still remember the days when I had. I mean, it took me, I don't know, after 9 months, I had about 600 subscribers. So it wasn't just like click your fingers and then have success. It took a while, get there.
I like to say I've been blessed. I've been doing it for 5 months and got 400 and some subscribers, and I've had a few, like you said, there's a lot of luck involved, and I had a few lucky breaks where I narrated one of my friend's stories, and I almost got 100 subscribers for it because he has over 100K. And then randomly somebody noticed me in a Mr. Creepypasta live stream, and I got like 50 subscribers from that. So I had like 2 lucky breaks that like heavily contributed to where I'm at right now. So
And this kind of thing happens. It's like if you say, "Oh, can I come onto your channel and do a story with you?" There's no guarantee that people will then come back to your channel. I mean, I've done these big collaborations, the
His-
collab bingo
Your
and stuff.
fans are
I
your
try my
fans
best
are
because I love trying to help people, achieve what they want to achieve. There's no guarantee at all, and that
No.
kind of saddens me. But it's just how it is.
your fans are rabid. They do not want you to be with anybody else. They want you and only you. And heaven help any woman that has to speak with you, because they will not like her.
Oh, my
It doesn't matter
goodness.
who it is.
Poor
It's
Madam
true.
Raven
Oh,
Apologies.
and
You know what?
mute
You know what?
and
and
Deal with it.
Lucy.
Deal with it.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Sorry, suck it up. I want to do it. I like doing that. Just deal with it.
Oh
If
my
you don't like
gosh.
it, come back to the next video.
Yeah.
and
But,
here's
yeah,
how I
get
look
it,
at
yeah.
and here's how as a smaller channel I look at collabs. Even with like say we would do a collab, I'm not doing it for the subscribers. I'm doing it because it's fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I like to work with other people that are doing
Exactly.
the same thing I enjoy doing.
Exactly. I'm not doing it because you have 269,000 subscribers. I'm doing it because I am, I love your channel. I can, talking to you now, I would say I could consider you a friend now. And, I like working with my friends. So if I work with you, it's because I like what you do and I like you. So I want to work with you. It's not, it has nothing to do with what you can do for me.
Yeah. Just keep that attitude, and you're gonna have fun doing this. At the end of the day, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna enjoy
Yeah.
it.
To me, it's not the name or the numbers that make the channel, but the person behind the microphone. Yeah, I
And
agree,
that's what
Creepy
Creep-
Clown Girl.
That's Creep Clown Girl said that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean you can have a nice voice and you can read well and you can have the numbers and you can still be an asshole.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm not naming names, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
I know. I know there was one that I rarely listen to anymore. That I had never heard anything bad about him or anything like that, and I really enjoyed his narrations. And in the last year or so, he has really come out as an asshole. And I just like I happened to be looking at something else, and I saw his channel being advertised on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm over
Yeah.
that now.
Yeah. It's
You know,
it's always got to the point where it's like, this is cool, and I've been able to support my family pretty well from what I'm doing on YouTube, but as soon as it becomes obvious that this is a business and somebody's running it as a business, and you have to fit into, I hear stories about some of the bigger channels. It's like, I reject this story because it's not part of my corporate image and the way I want to move forward. And I'm like, oh, okay. If I like a story,
Yeah.
I'll read it. This is, if it's not
it
fun,
doesn't
then
fit my brand.
yeah, absolutely.
I like the fact that you said that you sometimes have to help along some stories. I've heard that
Yeah.
from a lot of narrators where they've had to correct grammar, or, oh, that's not the word you meant to use. This is the word you meant to use there. And I'm wondering, is there some way that we can let writers or people who are submitting these stories, is there some way we can let them know what you're looking for as far as readability?
It's pretty tough. Some of the best stories I read are just incredibly tough, and it's just like, my God, it's because you use, you elongated sentences, and I'm just like, and then and then this happened to this person who did this, and you're like, oh my God, how on earth is anyone supposed to read that? And it reminds me of what Harrison Ford said when he got the script for Star Wars, and he was like, George Lucas, what on earth is this shit? I mean, you can write this, but nobody can say it, And he goes back to that. He's like, yeah, writing something down on a page is different from somebody actually reading it.
I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
But I mean, and Filia and PA have heard me say this 1,000 times. The last thing you should do before you say, I'm done with this story, is read it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what I write, I go, I'm done with this story. And then I read it out loud and I'm like, well, I am not done with this story. But like, whenever I say I'm done with this story, it's got its end and it's got its natural conclusion. Now everything else is just fine tuning.
I read one just earlier today. Actually, it was funny. It's like the character in the story got out of bed and then they got dressed. They dried themselves and then they got dressed. And it's obviously the author forgot to mention the fact that they'd gone into the shower in between.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I think
Maybe it was a leak.
Yeah.
I think that we I don't know, I've always asked somebody, hey, is this what you actually need or mean? But I know that there are others that don't. I guess sometimes it would be difficult with some of the authors.
It's since I've started writing, and I've only written 3 or 4 stories myself, and I've done it under a pen name. So a lot of people who've have contacted me saying, "Can you read this?" They had no idea that I was Dr. Creepen, and I'm really impressed that some of them said, "Look, that there are certain subtleties, or you've used language that I don't want to use. Do you mind if I, make a few subtle changes?" I'm like, cool, yeah. Thanks for asking. So I'm sure it's always appreciated.
I know Raven does that too. He's like, I may make some slight adjustments just for my capability of reading it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We've it's coming up to 11 my time, and it's been awesome. It's been an absolute joy to speak with all of you. But, I want a glass of wine, to be honest.
You could have been drinking wine this whole time.
Yeah, you could have been drinking,
Who
man.
told you this
I'm sure you wouldn't have gotten sloshed on live, so you could have been having a drink.
I've I don't know, water. Actually, when I narrate, I have a mug of cold black coffee next to me, and that's something that really keeps the voice in order. Just every few lines, quick slurp on the black coffee. But, that. So yeah, nice glass of cold water. But my team just won, so I'm very happy to say. I'm gonna go
Yeah, congratulations.
If you don't mind.
Congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Semi-final with the mighty nation of Denmark coming up next week.
Oh, well.
Quite, yeah. I don't mind if it doesn't mean much to you, but it's pretty special.
That's awesome, dude.
It means to me.
It means a huge amount to us. This was big. This was a big thing for us.
Thank you so much, guys. It's really been a pleasure. Very nice to spend some time with you. I had some questions for you guys, but I just seem to have not gotten them in there, so I'm going to have to join you again in the future, aren't I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just so you know, when you go for the interview with Creepy Clown Girl in 2 weeks, you will also be interviewing with me, because I also do her show.
All right. Okay.
So
we didn't get through
I can
tonight.
answer some of those.
Right. Cool.
Absolutely. So
All right,
we will
guys.
see you then. You take care.
And you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
You have a great day. All right,
I
my
look
day's
forward
nearly
to
You
having
over.
you
too.
back on, dude.
Okay.
All right.
Bye bye.
Talk to you later, buddy.
Tuesday.
Okay.
And
That
yes, that was wonderful.
awesome. Thanks everybody for being here.
I think everybody, I think we got just about everybody's questions in.
Yeah, we did.
I thank you guys for being here for this. This was
Yeah, thank you
amazing.
guys so much.
Yes, it was. This
And
was.
go
Does
England.
anybody want to do the
Because no,
commercial?
once you the commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
I
Nevermore
understand.
Collective is a channel for all creators. If it does not fit on your channel, contact me for 242 as the Raven Dreams for a show on this channel. And if you just want to upload videos, we also do that here. So yeah, contact us if you guys want to do something on here. We are open to everybody, and we're always looking for more people to participate. I know that's not the commercial you wrote, but that's the commercial that my brain wrote.
Close enough.
And
Once you
join the collective, you will leave nevermore.
Leave nevermore.
All we give the strength to find our destiny. Unbroken for days, with every chance to break me. Yeah, you can.